Why? You know, God is love. God is a loving being, a merciful being, a just being. And after diving into the Word, I recognize God hates sin because sin is what separates us from Him. Sin is what closes our hearts to Him. And thinking back, like, well, what is sin? Like, what does that mean? You know, thou shalt not murder, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not, covet thy neighbor's wife, thou shalt not commit adultery. Thinking about those things, like thou shalt not steal. Well, I am hurting somebody else. I am taking from somebody something that they might have, like something they might have worked for. They might have spent their time trying to accumulate something precious to them, and I'm just taking that from them. I'm hurting them in a very personal way. God doesn't want that. God doesn't want that for us. Committing adultery, committing fornication. You know, in my past, like, I don't really plan on marrying this girl. I don't plan on committing myself to her. Unfortunately, I'm just using her for a good time. Maybe she's using me too. That doesn't make it right. But I'm hurting her. Not just personally, but on a physical level too. You know, when I drink, I served in the army, and this isn't an excuse. You know, join the army, you get to drink all the time. But unfortunately, that was a big thing that we like to do. And when I drink alcohol, I'm putting like actual poison in my body. You know, they use that stuff to clean things with, to kill bacteria and disinfect things. And I'm just willingly putting it in my body, just to have a good time. You know what I mean? It's hurting me. It's killing my body. So when I think about why God hates sin, why it separates us from Him, like, what is sin? Sin is hate. Sin is pain. It's a terrible thing if you really think about it. And I understand why God hates it. Because I hate it too. You know, every day I still struggle with it. Every day. Every day I get angry at somebody who doesn't deserve it. I don't say anything because, I mind my tongue. Life and death is in the power of the tongue. But I get frustrated, I get angry, and I think hateful thoughts. And then I sit back after, I'm like, what am I doing? Like, this is the silliest thing to get angry over, and I'm just, losing it inside. I think lustful thoughts. I think about my past. Occasionally, I'll be honest, sometimes after a long day, I'm like, I could really go for a cigarette or a drink or something. And all it's going to do is hurt. Whenever we indulge in fornication or drugs or, anything, all it's doing is hurting us. And it's hurting other people. And now that I kind of study myself, and I like to observe myself because, I'm stuck with myself pretty much every day. So I like to observe and I just recognize these patterns of hurt. And in the past when I was, indulging in sin, that my heart would be hardened to the point where this sin is just kind of, second nature. I don't think anything of it. Whatever. I do this all the time. See, but when I think about hate, I'm not thinking about God. I'm not thinking about love. I'm not thinking about spreading love to everyone around me. I'm not thinking of being that light in the darkness. And so I understand how it separates us from God. I really do. Because every time that you indulge in this, worldly pleasures, the sinful pleasures, maybe whether it's for comfort, for enjoyment, for stimulus, or whatever, you're saying, hey, I'm sorry, Lord, but I'm going to indulge in this because I have more faith that this will provide me comfort than you will. I can see this. It's all right here. I know it'll make me feel good. And that's just a lack of faith from our Father above, or of our Father above. And I think about that. When I'm caught in my own sin, I know it's wrong. Unfortunately, I still do it. So when I'm standing up here talking about this, I don't want you guys to think that I'm just projecting it to you. Like, hey, stop sinning. Like, I'm terrible, man. Just today, I just counted up my sins. I ran out of fingers and toes. And it's a hard thing to wrestle with. But there's hope. Like Randall was saying, there is hope in Jesus Christ. There is. There is hope. We have to die to ourselves every day. Like Randall was saying, we have to allow him to transform us. We have to let go of pursuing hate. We have to understand that when we choose sin, we're willingly choosing something wrong over something right. And I think for me, that was a big turning point. When I could recognize that I was choosing something wrong over something right. It's a journey. It really is. But there's hope in Jesus Christ, and He can change your heart. Just as He's changed mine, He's changed Randall's, He's changed countless of other people. And I feel that awareness that Jesus brings to sin, not just telling you it's wrong, but telling you why, telling you how, what it looks like, I think that's where it hit home for me. But anyways, I feel that that's really all the Lord wants me to say. But I thank you all for listening, and there's hope in Jesus Christ. You know, He died for our wrongdoings. God is all love, but He's also all just, and someone had to pay the price for the wrongdoings that we continuously do every day. And that's where Jesus Christ comes in, fully man and fully God. He bore the weight of the sin of the world on His body, past, present, and future. And He bled His perfect blood over it and cleansed us all. And faith in His work is what brings you salvation. Thank you for listening, and have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right. Good message.